Joining me in the Breakfast Club this morning, we have a new guest around our table. Of course, if you listen regularly, you'll hear the kind of a host of voices, maybe 6-7 voices on rotation. And we've got a new addition to our Breakfast Club, our proverbial breakfast table. Margaret Thrawley joins us. She runs an award-winning Single Fathers Network and funding drive in Enfield. You may have heard from her on BBC Radio London before, and she joins us this morning. Very good morning to you, Margaret.
Good morning. How are you?
I am very well. You sound like a morning person, Margaret. Is it true, or are you just putting on a great show?
I think I'm putting on a great show.
Well done. Some Oscar-winning performances happening right now. So,
Definitely.
Margaret, before we get into all of our stories, tell us a little bit about you, because I want to introduce you to the listeners, and I want to tell the listeners a little bit about you. So, what corner of London do you call home?
I'm in Edmonton. I'm in the corner of Edmonton Green, not far from there. So that's where I am.
That's where home is for you. What's the best thing about Edmonton?
Oh, I've been in Edmonton for 20 years and I love it. I love it. And I've seen the changes in Edmonton when I go in my shopping centre. I just loved it.
Okay. So there's no other part of London that's tempting you away from Edmonton. You're loyal to it.
I am loyal to it. So I've been here for 20 years. I think I'm going to find it difficult.
Yeah, same.
I'm able to move.
We get quite stuck into our areas in London, don't we? We find the area that we love and then we refuse to move anywhere, and we say that everywhere else is rubbish in comparison. That's what Londoners do, don't they?
That's what we do.
That's it. They get weird and loyal about their area. Margaret, when you're not running your award-winning Single Fathers Network and helping the single fathers of London to raise their children, what do you do in your downtime? Tell me paint me a picture of what Margaret likes to do when you're not working.
When I'm not working, one of the things that I do Friday, because when I first started the business, it was just go, 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 go. But when I put in place my me time, I go for a sauna and a jacuzzi, and I pamper myself every Friday.
Every Friday. Come through.
Every Friday.
I like that. You're not even once in a little while. Every Friday, every week, I need to pamper myself.
Yes.
Very good.
I need to. So that's what I do. That's what I do on my downtown. And I love going to theatres and meeting people. So yes, that's
amazing. I immediately am now going to look at where I can pamper myself. I like that. I like that you do it every week. I think that's a good thing to do. All right, Margaret, let's get into our stories that we have here. The stranger side of the news. And a real strange story I saw this morning was about a town in New Zealand where people have Celine Dion music battles, which I thought was brilliant, but apparently lots of drivers blasting out Celine Dion, My Heart Will Go On at 2 a.m. isn't great for residents.
Well, it's not great for residents, but I think it's a great choice because I love Celine Dion. I think she's amazing. Her music is a legend. I think it's a good choice for Battle of the Music. I think it's amazing.
Right? At least it's not, I don't know, heavy metal at 2 a.m. Just a bit of Celine Dion.
Yes. I think it's a great choice for them, but,
Okay, if you were going into a music battle and you have to pick a Celine Dion track to battle against a different Celine Dion track, what song are you picking?
I definitely like the Titanic. My Heart
Will Go On.
My Heart Will Go On. When I first watched that, I said, that's me. That is me. That's me on top day with my hands up.
Yes, very good. I think that's a wonderful suggestion. If you and I were going into battle, Margaret, and you picked My Heart Will Go On, I would then pick Think Twice, and we could battle each other out on different Celine Dion songs.
I think that is brilliant. Think Twice, because we need that as well. As much as being romantic and everything with Celine Dion, Think Twice will just mellow you down and bring you back to earth.
There you go. Exactly. But let's be really honest here, Margaret. Let's say someone was coming to your area every morning and blasting out Celine Dion at 2 o'clock in the morning. Do you think you'd get sick of it?
I think after a while, as much as I love Celine Dion, as much as I love her music, I think after a while, I maybe, yes, might go and say, hi, friend, please. I have to get up and go to work.
Yeah. So but this is so strange. So these people in New Zealand, they all meet, and it can be between 7 to 10 different cars, and they all blast their music out. They dance. They feel better, and they said it's better than a night clubbing or drinking in a bar. I have to agree with that. I would love to go to an open space where everyone just blasts out Celine Dion and have a dance. That would be way better than going to a club, wouldn't it?
Well, definitely, because it's safer, it's open. Well, I think it's safer, it's open, and the music is great, and it's fun. And it's also sometimes like, to be in such an environment, I think it'd be great. Yeah, it'd be fun.
I tell you
Great
what,
experience.
Margaret, let's meet somewhere in Enfield, and let's find a big common, and then you and I will blast out some music, some Celine Dion, and we'll see if anyone comes to dance with us.
Well, I'm ready for that.
Okay, excellent. Me too. Okay, this next story that I have is from The Guardian, and it says, what do you do if your partner snores or maybe steals the duvet? Now, where do you stand on this, Margaret? Because I think if your partner snores, leave them. Don't get into a relationship with people who snore.
It's a good one. When I actually read it, I kind of laugh. And I'm going to be real with you. I'm a snorer.
Hey, that's it. I'm never sharing a bed with you, Margaret.
No, definitely no. So for me, as soon as I read it, I'm like, okay, what do you do? But yeah, I mean, I'm sure quite a lot of the population there will snore. It's about just how do we work it out together. And next thing, go to bed early before your partner and fall asleep early.
Yeah, you could do that. Or, is separate beds a good idea for partners? Because why do you have to spend every night in the same bed, right?
But then that spoils the relationship, isn't it?
I don't know. Does it? Do you think it does?
Well, it does, because that moment, so that minutes, that intimacy, that talk, that conversation. Okay, he snores. That's one of his things. I snore. That's one of my things. But hopefully you sleep before me so I can.
Okay, so the key is just go to sleep before the person.
Yes.
Okay. Because if you hate snoring and your partner snores, that could ruin the relationship. Because when someone's snoring next to me, I do feel like taking a pillow and bashing them. It doesn't make me a good person to say that, but it's true, Margaret. I want to bash them with a pillow.
I think it's good to be honest, It's good to be honest. Like, I opened the conversation, I snore. And
That's it. That's the way it is. Fair enough. Okay. All right. Go to bed earlier. But then what if you want to have a cuddle in bed? Then if you're going to go to bed earlier, you may as well just sleep in separate rooms. Or maybe have a cuddle and then go back.
Yeah, maybe have a cuddle. I think this is where the conversation comes in with the both couple, particularly if you're young. This is the conversation comes in. But I know as you got older and you got fed up of it, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna sleep in the spare room. But when you're younger, I think it's having that understanding. That my partner snores.
When you're young and in love and stupid, basically, Margaret, is what you're saying. That's what you're saying.
Thank you.
Okay, and this final story that I have is about Alison Hammond, and I found this really interesting, and I wanted to get your take on it. So there's a story in the Mirror that someone had tweeted saying, I really like Alison Hammond, but she seems to be wearing a Rolex, and I find that uncomfortable. Alison Hammond then tweeted back and said, I wish it's actually a Michael Kors watch that my late mum bought for me. It cost her £185 of her hard-earned money. It means more to me than any Rolex. Sorry that you felt uncomfortable. What's your take on all of this?
My take on when I read that, I kind of like now have an understanding of the story. That obviously maybe the watch, her mum bought the watch, so it has sentimental values onto that. So when we have special gifts like that, particularly from our parents, it has so much meaning to us, and we want to wear it because we're so proud of it, and we feel comfortable, and we love our parent, and yes. So for me,
here's the thing that I thought with it, Margaret. Firstly, so let's say she was wearing a Rolex, right?
Mm-hmm.
surely, so what? If she earned her money and she bought a Rolex, that's what she wanted to buy with her money, why should anyone feel uncomfortable to watch that? And why do we think that the people on our TV screens who get paid more money than your average person to be on those TV screens and to be in the public eye, why should we be comfortable with what they're wearing? So what if they've got a Rolex on, or so what if she wanted to spend that money on a Rolex? Is she supposed to not spend her money? Like, I don't really understand. Even if she was wearing a Rolex, why should that be a problem?
It shouldn't be, honestly, it shouldn't be really a problem whatsoever. It depends how that person at the moment, at that time, how they feel regarding the whole issue. What is their life like? Because obviously one of it was the cost of living crisis.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the point the person wanted to come across. Where's that person? What's happening? Are they struggling? So those are the things we need to look at. But like you rightfully say, if she's working really hard and she's earning that money and she can afford it, good for her because she's worked for it.
Yeah.
She's
I hate the idea that just because they, like, if they have more money than us, they shouldn't have to spend it. I don't know. It's just a really odd thing for someone to tweet her about.
I suppose the person didn't have maybe better things to do, but that's my take
Or
to
maybe they
it.
stayed up, they got a bad night's sleep because their partner snores, Margaret. Could have been
Could be
that.
It could be that. And says, okay, what do I do? Let me get onto my phone and put the Twitter out,
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
yeah, so that could be it. But I think if she wants to wear a Rolex, let her wear a Rolex. She doesn't have
Yeah,
to come and defend herself about what she's wearing. She deserves it. She works hard. You know,
exactly.
it's, so yeah, that's my take to that.
Give the woman a Rolex, for God's sakes.
I
Yes.
agree with you on that.
Yeah, exactly. Margaret Thorley, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's been such a pleasure talking to you in the Breakfast Club.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Really appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you and your joy this morning.